Maricopa County, Arizona, the missing sister murder trial. Sarah Turney went viral trying to solve the case of her half-sister, Alyssa. Then her father gets arrested for the murder, and Sarah is on the witness stand.
Have you, on occasion, asked your father what happened to Alyssa?
He told me he'd tell me on his deathbed.
On the docket tonight in the low country of South Carolina, the Murdaugh boat crash case. Alec Murdaugh in a local liquor store being sued for the crash that killed Mallory Beach and set off a series of events leading to Alec Murdaugh murdering his wife and his son. We have a preview.
So much talk about how I, fixed witnesses and structured the investigation, just things that were totally false, that were absolutely baseless.
In tonight's Tank Takes, a thief in a bunny suit robs a laundromat. That's right, a thief in a bunny suit. So tonight we're asking, why the bunny suit? No clean clothes? Get ready, this hour of closing arguments starts right now. I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us here tonight on Closing Arguments. And we've been covering this story of this 19-year-old who gave birth in a hospital bathroom. Took the child, wrapped in plastic, placed him in the trash. Child is dead. She's charged with murder. Her name's Alexee Trevizo. And we've spoken to his attorney here on the show. We've seen the videos. We've seen the body cam video from her in the hospital room. And we're trying to figure out one question, which I think is very crucial to this case and will be important for the jury at her murder trial. Did she know she was pregnant? Did she know? And I'm going to go through some evidence here tonight to try to see if we can get some idea on which way the evidence seems to indicate. From my perspective, I think this is a crucial issue. If she knew she was pregnant, there is virtually no defense here to this case. But if she didn't know, and she's 19, but a very naive 19, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't understand how this even happened. I don't know how you're in a hospital in labor and you end up going into the bathroom and giving birth by yourself in like 20 minutes and cleaning everything up and throwing the baby boy in the garbage. I don't understand that. So let's go through some of this evidence. Like, did she or did she not know? Well, Evan the Plug is the handle on TikTok. He's been posting some videos about this where she's cheerleading, okay? So I'm going to show you those videos. Let's take a look at it. And is it obvious that she's pregnant? I don't know. Maybe. A lot of people are commenting, think it is. They are. I don't know what her body looked like beforehand, but did she know? Would she know? There she is. And there's other videos as well. So she continued to do these workouts and was cheerleading, but carrying a child. Carrying a child. Now, her attorney, Gary Mitchell, really good attorney, by the way, spoke with Inside Edition and was asked about that issue of did she know? Isn't it obvious from the videos? So take a listen to what he told Inside Edition, and then listen to what he told me on this show.
In the video, she clearly has a baby bump. How can she say she didn't know she was pregnant?
That's what she thought. She thought she wasn't pregnant because she's still having her monthly cycle, and that's a big issue.
Gary, you don't think she looks pregnant in that video?
I don't make a judgment on that, and I can't make a judgment on that. At 51 minutes after midnight, they know she's pregnant because they ran the blood test and they came back. Now, they didn't tell her that she was pregnant. They didn't tell her for another 48 minutes. Well, they never told her. She learned that she was pregnant when she went to the bathroom. 1 in 2,500 in what we call cryptic pregnancies, 1 in 2,500 women do not know they're pregnant till they deliver. It's an alarming statistic, but it's also a pretty factual statistic. 1 in 400 to 500 women do not know that they're 20 weeks pregnant until after 20 weeks have passed. So not unusual, especially for teenage girls. She obviously had never had a baby before. She's the youngest in the family, so she hadn't been around when anybody else in the family had had a baby. And she had never had a vaginal examination ever in her life, and was totally unaware, and had been taking birth control, and she and her boyfriend had used birth control. And she had been working out 2 to 4 hours a night for 6 nights out of the week for months. So she never thought that she was pregnant. It came as a total shock and surprise to her.
So what are we left to think here, right? What did she know? Did she have any idea that she was carrying a child? It's actually carrying a little boy. So I'm going to show you some body cam footage now, because I believe that the two people closest to her may not have had any idea that she was pregnant. I'm talking about her mom and her boyfriend, who I would assume is the father of that little boy. Take a listen.
So what did she come here for that she told you?
She told me she had back pain.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Has she been having back pain before?
Yeah, pain for her and her hips is no, I mean, she was born with like her, I don't know, it was like crooked.
Her spine?
Okay, because my ex-husband, he hit me. He beat me whenever I was pregnant with her. So she was early. So she had some problems with her hips. Like I always had to take her to the chiropractor to get adjusted because she couldn't use, like, she was always getting constipated. Like she had to get lined up, whatever. So, I mean, I've been taking her to chiropractor because I always thought, well, this time, I didn't know. I honestly didn't know she was pregnant. I didn't know. I just thought, like she said, I had back pain while my hips are hurting me. I think I need to go to the chiropractor. I said, okay, let's go tomorrow. But she was like in really a lot of pain, and
When did it start?
Like the pain?
Yes.
Yesterday she said it was really bad, that her hips were hurting and her back. And then last night we're on the phone together and she said her hips were hurting bad. I asked her if anything else was hurting, and she said just everything. And she went to sleep.
But she's a cheerleader too, so she's big in cheers. They have a cheer competition. She works out. I mean.
And she's been active this whole time?
Yeah, she's been active this whole time.
So really, 2 questions tonight I think are crucial here. One, what are the facts here? Did she know if she was pregnant? And 2, what does this do at her murder trial? If the answer is yes or the answer is no, let's get some help. Let's bring in our think tank. Joining us tonight in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor Al Wunsch III. Also with us, the exotic one in St. Bart's. It's an island in the Caribbean, apparently. Criminal defense attorney Darnell Crossland. And in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, family law attorney Jennifer Brent. Okay, Al, I'll begin with you. What does your gut tell you here? Is this a 19-year-old who had no idea?
I don't understand how the school allowed her to be performing in a cheerleading group with the condition that she was in. I mean, no one said, by the way, maybe you need to get looked at by a doctor before we let you start doing tumbling and doing all the other kind of dance steps and all the activity you have to do for being a competitive cheerleader. I mean, this is impossible to me.
Are we looking at this video with 20/20 hindsight, or is it that obvious?
Well, it is blatantly obvious, okay? I mean, the only thing different is, like, Rihanna came out, and, it's the same thing. She's not wearing a belly shirt there. But, I mean, it is absolutely obvious. And if I'm a coach, I mean, if you're in any way humbling or, like tumbling, walking, or you have got an ankle sprain, you got to stop and do everything. How they would allow her to be doing this kind of activity without being looked at by a doctor, it's just insane. And the mother, that's just even more bizarre that she didn't have some sort of inkling that there was something going on, unless it's maybe, Rosemary's baby, and they're not really sure. It's just a bizarre scenario. Do I think she was pregnant? Do I think she knows she was pregnant? I can't imagine she didn't know she was pregnant, but I think she didn't want to believe she was pregnant. And I'm sure that there's going to be some sort of a psychological aspect of this case that's going to say she kept denying it. And then the other factors involved, led her to believe that it was just a figment of her imagination.
Darnell?
Well, I thought Al, first he calls Steph Curry Stephen Curry. Now he's talking about Rihanna. That's the first thing.
What?
Second thing is, what Al needs to know is that women are pregnant, not disabled. I used to be in a gym where a woman had a bump bigger than that, was doing suicides back and forth. It blew my mind. And when I inquired, I was told that doctors even advise that women should stay active during their pregnancy. It makes the pregnancy delivery easier. And so there's no mystery or there's no oddity about this woman continuing to cheer. They should do that while they're pregnant. But as it relates to the criminal justice system, this case annoys me big time. I'll tell you why. There's nothing here that shows that she should be on trial for murder. Women give stillbirths all the time. So whether she knew she was pregnant or she didn't, there's been no facts here that she took a razor or wire and tried to kill this baby. She went into a bathroom, she had the baby, and maybe she got nervous and covered it up. So perhaps there's some kind of charge there that's lower.
Well, there was air in the lungs, Darnell. You're going to have a medical examiner who's going to say this baby took breaths for sure, and the baby was wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, but still, the idea
you're at a hospital. All you have to do is say, I need a little help in here.
Right, but if she didn't do that, that doesn't become murder. So I think this wouldn't break my winning streak, to put it that way. And I think that she's 19. Again, she's a young kid. Everything's not connecting properly. She's probably scared to death of what's going to happen. No one knew about this. So I think we should just come down from this murder and stop wasting all these resources on these high charges in all situations. I just don't agree with this.
Jennifer Brandt, what are your thoughts? First of all, do you think it's plausible that she did not know?
I think it's 100% plausible that she did not know, and I think she probably did not know. You heard the mother being interviewed, so the mother didn't know, and the mother sounds like, maybe they didn't get the best medical care. Maybe they weren't really sophisticated enough to be thinking that this was happening. Obviously, the mother knew she had a boyfriend. She did have a boyfriend, but it sounds like the mother said she was abused herself during pregnancy. So, who knows what's going on in this family. And as for the girl, I see the videos. Yes, she looks like she has a bit of a baby bump, but she doesn't look 9 months pregnant at all. So maybe she thought she was gaining weight. Maybe, and no one else necessarily would comment about that because people just don't comment about those things these days. Her coach is not going to say, boy, you're looking a little big. And maybe they would not put two and two together. So I think it's absolutely plausible. We hear about these cases all the time where people don't realize that they're pregnant until they're actually giving birth. It sounds impossible, but in a situation like this with a young girl who may not be that sophisticated, may not really understand, I think it's certainly plausible.
Yeah, something else that came up in the toxicology, though, Jennifer, that might be right along those lines, that she thought she was gaining weight, is that apparently she was taking some diet pills.
Okay, so that explains a lot. She feels like she's getting bigger. She's trying to diet. Sounds like she was very, very active during this time. Sometimes when you get to be in your 8th, 9th month, it's hard to jump around and hard to do those kind of things. So she had, she was active throughout the whole entire pregnancy, probably thought, boy, I'm gaining weight. I don't understand why, but kept up with her level of activity. She's young, she's fit. So I think it's 100% plausible. I also agree with Darnell. I don't think it's a first-degree murder case. I mean, she's in the hospital. They knew she was pregnant. Why wasn't someone monitoring her or telling her what was going on? It is problematic. Obviously, this baby was born and it was wrapped in plastic. So it sounds like, you know, perhaps she panicked when she had the baby, did not really understand what was going on. We've seen this before, seen these cases before. There seems to be no consistency in how people are charged in these types of cases and the outcomes. So it's a sad situation on all fronts, for her, for the baby, obviously, for her whole family.
All right, we'll continue to follow this one. Al, I think you responded just by your facial expression, so
Thank
we
you.
know what you were thinking.
High school girls don't make fun of other high school girls for gaining weight. I'm sure that doesn't happen. Did you ever see Mean Girls, for God's sakes?
Up next. Sarah Turney's half-sister was missing for years. Then through her podcast and social media posts, Sarah went viral with the story. Then her father was arrested for the murder, and she's on the witness stand at his trial.